Hello everyone and welcome back to the second session of ISSC's Foundation Day event, sponsored by iStone Car Parking Systems. This session is a tribute to legend Engineer Shirish Patel. We are very honored and pleased to have retired High Court Judge Justice Gautam Patel, son of Engineer Shirish Patel, with his family in the audience for this session. I request Engineer Hemant Vadarkar to please welcome Mr. Gautam Patel. Thank you, sir. I request Mr. Gautam Patel to please speak a few words. Sir, please. All right. Moving forward, I request moderator Vijay Kulkarni to please speak a few words, and I hand over the mic to him.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before we start this tribute session, I request all of you to stand 1 minute in silence. Please sit down. We have gathered today to pay glowing tributes to one of the outstanding structural engineer and whatnot. So this program we have decided about a month back, and some like-minded people, we decided even the speakers we finalized. Unfortunately, the seminar hall at Visitia was not available. So we have to request Shantilal ji and Vadarkar to help us in conducting, and they agreed immediately. And first of all, I would like to thank them for, giving almost 1.5 hours for this program. So, as we know, Shirish was an outstanding and brilliant structural engineer, visionary planner, and maybe innovator in many sense, and an activist also. One of the person who really thought very seriously about our clan, civil engineering and structural engineering clan, and had definite ideas and fought for it for his entire life. Now, I know him, I can speak about him. Almost, I know him for last 4 decades. But I thought that it would be better that I invite people who have really worked with him for a longer time and they know him pretty well. So I decided to request some people, and they have readily agreed. The first person I would like to call is the Professor Gupchup, who has been a well-known academician, eminent person of repute. I don't need, I need his introduction, but the kind of work that he has done in the technical education field, one should call him a Maharshi in technical education. And of course, sir, and the kind of, the accreditation committee, he was the chairman, and he was also connected with AERB, chairman of the safety committee. Many areas I could speak, but this is not a time. So I request, sir, to please.
Thank you, Vijay. First of all, let me pay compliments to all structural engineers on the 27th Foundation Day of the Indian Society for Structural Engineers. Thanks to Shantibai, we were able to get together this afternoon. Many friends I see in front of me. To talk about Shirish is rather difficult. I had known Shirish since 1964. That's the time when I returned from the US after my studies and a short stint of work with Bechtel Corporation. In fact, Shirish's in-laws, Rajani Tai's parents, Moti Chandji and Kusum Tai, were very close friends of my parents. So when I decided to return, I naturally asked Shirish. I said, what is it that I can do coming here? So Shirish said yes. I think it was the time when he was just about starting his engineering practice. And he said, come, join me. We will do some good work. But at that time, Bechtel Corporation formed a joint venture with Government of India, Engineers India Limited. And having been with my parent company, I went to Delhi. And I stayed there, didn't come to Mumbai. And that's the time when my good friend Vasu finished his PhD from ETA in Switzerland and came back and joined Shirish. Shirish was in the field of civil and structural engineering. He was a veritable genius. One can quote many examples of his innovative design approaches, but I'll restrict myself to maybe just a couple. The first one that comes to my mind is the Kemp's Corner flyover. It was supposed to have been, and many of you may know or youngsters may not know, it was supposed to have been an arch bridge, and Vasu will remember that. On the Pedder Road side, we had competent rock, but on the other side, the Hanging Garden down side, rock was almost 25 or more meters deep to take the thrust of the arches. Now, Shirish had to think about all these issues. You couldn't have the arch very high. And so he came up with this idea of balanced cantilever, pre-stressed concrete bridge. If the span there was so large that if it had been just the span, the depth of the girder would have been very large. That is why he had two ends projecting on two sides. And at that time, this was a novel design. In fact, if you even today, if you go there and watch, you will see the tip of the cantilever deflecting more than the reinforced concrete approach side. And sometimes I think Shirish himself told me that somebody told his family that this bridge is not going to last because it is deflecting. But then he had provided a steel plate on top, and he said, no, that's a part of the design. That's the way it's going to work. And so that bridge, that flyover, as we call it now, became a unique structure which Shirish designed. The other example of his innovative approach was to have precast reinforced concrete panels for walls and slabs. And he experimented with them first in the Petit Hall complex. At that time, so now you have got Silver Arch, Urvashi, Rambha, Tani Heights. Those buildings all have these prefabricated reinforced concrete panels for walls and slabs. This was early 70s. Before that, in the United Kingdom, there was a structure of similar type known as the Ronan Point. And the Ronan Point structure collapsed because of some gas explosion, and it collapsed. And so everybody was wondering, what is happening? Shirish made sure that the joints were wet joints, not dry joints. And he made sure that the connectivity between the walls and the slabs were perfect. And that's how these buildings came up. In fact, it's quite interesting. At that time, any of you had seen those buildings. The first building, the Silver Arch, had a beer bottle finish. I don't know how many of you had seen that. I don't know what was the idea behind it, but Shirish had made a mold of half the size, half beer bottle. Then they would take the brown beer bottle, run an electric wire around it, pass a small current, and the bottle would break 2 verticals. And that he embedded in the panels. And there was this beer bottle finish on the building. Everybody was amazed at that. Of course, later on they had to remove it because probably they broke on by themselves, or some miscreants must have thrown stones or something like that. He was a very innovative designer. And so these two examples always stand in my mind as an example of Shirish's innovative approach to structural design. Shirish was an engineer par excellence. He did his mechanical sciences tripos, if I am right, at Cambridge, and came back and then started his practice here in civil engineering. Lot of memories of this great structural engineer, but I think many people would want to say something about him. So I will end saying that Shirish will never forget you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Gupchup, and thank you for remaining within the time, because we have been given some 10 minutes for each speaker. Now the next speaker will be Alpa, whom she knows Shirish quite well, and she also don't need any introduction. She has been a designer, innovativeness. I think she has been in her blood, and of late she has been working on standards, and I welcome that efforts It's a great effort that she is doing. The tall building code is because of her. So I know how much effort she has taken in that. And of course, she is an activist also to a certain extent. So may I request Alpa to please come.
Good afternoon. Thank you, ISSC, for hosting this, and congratulations on your Foundation Day. I think you've done stellar work, and I'll especially make mention of Shantilal Bhai and Hemant Vadarkar, who have continuously interacted with all of us and made this ISSC such a roaring success. Today is an occasion to revisit cherished memories of Shirish Bhai. And I'd like to recount a few inspiring moments I've shared with Mr. Shirish Patel. I hope that through this journey, one is able to rekindle that still small voice within each one of us, which was loud as a lion's roar within Shirish Bhai. I'd like to speak about 3 attributes of Shirish Bhai, the 3 C's as I call it, which have touched and inspired me for years, and which will continue to do so after much else is gone. The first attribute that I would like to talk about Shirish Bhai was his curiosity. Shirish Bhai was a shining example of what Richard Feynman put it as, curiosity. It has to do with something, it has to do with wondering what makes something do something, and then to discover, if you try to get answers, that they are related to each other, that things that make the wind make the waves, that the motion of water is like the motion of air, is like the motion of sand. The fact that things have common features, it turns out to be more and more universal. What we are looking for is how everything works. I honestly believe Shirish Bhai was onto that. His interest was in fundamentals, not just in the final product. I remember he would be curious about the snakes and treks of a common friend of ours, Ashok Captain, who was a renowned cyclist and herpetologist working in Arunachal Pradesh, as much as he would be curious about earthquake engineering. I remember he called Sudhir Jain, who has been one of the big earthquake engineering activists in our country, called him over home one day for lunch to understand the whole basics of earthquake engineering and this whole mission of his. Shirish Bhai was just as comfortable giving a talk on the music of Kumar Gandharva to an audience of music connoisseurs as he was discussing mathematics of a complex mechanical joint in a Santiago kinetic structure. I think that was because he understood the mathematics in Indian music just as well as he could hear the music in the mathematics. It was also this curiosity that led him to study why and how Ballad Estate in Mumbai can be low-rise, calm, quiet, and still accommodate an FSI of 4, while new 60-story towers that appear busy, intrusive, also are built on an FSI of 4. His immense work in urban studies is well recognized across the country. And housing, I think all of you know about that. Housing was a topic that had held his curiosity from the 60s. And he searched on topics of housing policies, rental housing dynamics, slum rehabilitation, the whole breadth of it. And it was in the same curiosity that led him to study the 1964 Draft Development Plan, the DP plan, not just to find out how to manage the FSIs, but really to understand what it was. And he wondered that why are we stopping at Greater Mumbai? What's happening beyond Greater Mumbai? Because a lot of industries had already started going on the Thane Creek Road. And he, along with, I think, architect Shirish Patel, they wrote an article about a possibility of a planned development. And, as what happens with good ideators, I think suddenly, let me put it this way, serendipity is an ideator's strongest ally. So by a chain of fortuitous events, their proposal gained traction and SIDCO was formed, and of course the rest is history. I think another area that aroused his curiosity and later turned into a passion was the design of solar cookers. I think not many of you structural engineers may be perhaps knowing about it. And, it later expanded into the broader energy conservation interest. I remember this very clearly because we were jointly overseeing a research student. And I lived at that time at Five Gardens, which is a quiet place in Matunga, near the Pasi colony. And he would come weekly to my place because of that joint student we were working together with. And he would come straight from a meeting at UICT, where he would have his committee meetings for the eco cooker, if I'm not mistaken. And it was so lovely to have him there, and he would have his fixed, I don't remember now, but I think it used to be a particular kind of a tea he would have, and that would be kept ready for him. And it was lovely, just very, very nice mornings we used to have for 1.5 hours. And then when I told him, I'm going to leave this place and go elsewhere, and he said, oh, but that's such a lovely, cute place. No, let's keep it within our community. Somebody I know wants to get it. So I would say that to be curious is also to be observant, right? And I think about it and I'm thinking, where did this curiosity come from? I mean, it's just, all of us are curious, but his curiosity was way beyond what normal, you and I would perhaps have. And of course, one can ascribe it to one's childhood, one's exposure, one's education. But after all that is said and done, I think it came from his being in the moment. I think he was a man who was always in the moment, always. The second C, the second attribute I would like to discuss is his courage. Civil engineers, and structural maybe more so, are usually a quiet lot. I think you'll all agree with me, right? And we tend to dodge confrontations, right? Even when we see something wrong is happening. The proof of that is everywhere to be seen in the miserable fee structure all of us are victims of, right? In the collapsing bridges, in the shabby construction, in the weathering of buildings which are barely a decade after they are built. We're seeing all of this, but how many of us are making a hue and cry about it, right? Shirish Pai was refreshingly different. He was completely fearless and has time and again shown truth to power. I worked with him on some of these activist, as what Mr. Kulkarni said, if you may, activist projects. Once I remember Moneylife had carried a couple of my pieces on Mumbai's crumbling infrastructure. And then they'd held a talk to which Shirish Pai had come. And he gave some very useful input. And again, as I said, serendipity, comes into play when all things fall together. And so Mr. Sanjay Nirupam was also in attendance. And then we said, okay, why don't we do something? And then we met the municipal commissioner. And then again, a committee of Citizens Technical Advisory Committee was held. And we were saying, look, why are you demolishing all these bridges which are in perfectly good condition? And they had actually planned to have 29 bridges, which they deemed to be unsafe, and they want to demolish and build new ones. And we said, no, we want to have a look at it. We will have our say. And Dr. Nouri over here was part of the committee, and Shirish Pai and myself, the three of us. And of course, by the time the committee was made and it started the work, they went into full gear, and they had already demolished a few of them, and there were only, so 15 of them were already demolished, and they said, okay, now there are 10 which you can have a look. And, those closure of those bridges was creating a lot of trouble for the residents over there. And I don't know, we're all becoming tone deaf and tone blind, and I don't know. And so basically, they thought that, they would fatigue us into not doing it. Oh, you'll have to go there, you'll have to do this, But at the crack of dawn, in his signature white attire, Shirish Pai would be ready, Dr. Nouri would be ready, and together we would march to all these far-flung bridges. And, I'm not so sure how successful we are, because you're working with powers which are, they have much more agency perhaps than what we have. But I think we did make a song and dance bar. We gave a report, and they said, oh, but we need a structural engineer to sign those buildings, those bridges are safe. Dr. Nouri and Shirish Pai said, we are going to put in our structural license. They had no problem saying, we'll put it. And I think maybe our intervention helped one or two bridges, but I think Shirish Patel was not somebody who would give up. And again, I think Dr. Nouri and Shirish Patel tried and intervened. We had mixed results, but I think, and we got, of course, the ire of the bridge department in the bargain, but that was not something which would in any way prevent him from what he would like to do. And a recent, another experience which we had was, again, where Dr. Nouri, Shirish Bhai and I myself were involved, was the Malabar Hill Reservoir. And actually, I don't know how many of you have been fortunate enough to go in there, but it is something which is almost as beautiful as what you see in Istanbul. You know, the reservoirs you see in Istanbul, which have become tourism points. And we were shocked that they said that, you know, it is, let me just show you some. Oh, I can't see it, huh? I don't know what you're seeing. Okay, I'm just going to show you some, I mean, you know, I don't know what these slides are. They're just slides where, okay, I'll take it. So he basically took the lead in writing to the media, and once again, you know, I think it'll come in the end, this particular slide. And he said, you know, he wrote, three of us wrote the letter together, and it was taken up by the newspapers as a big header article. And so it shook up the municipal commissioner, and they again formed an advisory committee. And I think this time we had wisened up, and you know, we were working against IIT professors. We were again working against the weight and the power of the municipal corporation, because there was a lot of money involved in terms of, I think it was more than 700 crores to have to rebuild all of that. And so, but I would say we were very happy. We persisted, and of course at some point we thought everything was lost, until then again some force of the universe came in, and then IIT Roorkee was, because there was this difference between us versus the IIT professors, though we were part of the same committee, then they called in IIT Roorkee, and fortunately over there the professor who was there was somebody who understood what was there, and I think was somebody you could talk to, and they did change the report, and you know, till date there is no, at least as of now, I think there is no immediate plan to demolish it, and I hope that we can kind of save it. So I think that you know, this I can enumerate many other interesting projects very intervened, be it a forensic audit of a project or a peer review or simply a public interest issue. Shirish Bhai was candid, he was fearless and courageous, and always ready to take on the powerful without fear or favor for a just cause. The third attribute I'd like to, and these are where these pictures are, as I said, you know, unfortunately I can't see them, but I think you may be seeing some pictures. Okay, let me, if I go down, it's the first picture, right? All of these pictures are pictures taken, this is the first one? Okay. Okay. Sorry about this. I just felt. Okay. I'm sorry. I'll just start with the first one. Can I just start with the first one? Okay. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about. So this is a picture of Shirish Bhai. These are the last. These are pictures of when we last had met for lunch. So let me just start with. Let me start with the third attribute. Is the third C, which I'm like to discuss, was his charm. Okay, Shirish Bhai's charm was, I think, one of his most endearing traits, at least to me. Okay, his charm was not put on, or it wasn't the loud, oozing, fake charm. You know, that I find sometimes very off-putting, and some engineers do put it on. You know, especially when I shouldn't say it, but okay, never mind, I won't. That some engineers do have, and I find that cringeworthy. Okay. Shirish Bhai's charm was this very quiet, unobtrusive kind, which was understated, and so it never overwhelmed you, right? I'm not sure if it was revealed to all, but those of us who saw that side of him felt especially privileged. Like maybe I'm being a little bit more, you know, taken over by emotion, but I would say it was like, feeling like you're touched by a moonbeam. And you met Shirish Bhai, and the age gap simply melted in the first minute. He was that dear friend who did not feel the need to be patronizing or condescending to those 30 years younger. There are so many illustrative examples of his charm which his cohorts of friends could share with you. I remember almost 2.5 decades ago, I don't know if some of you remember, there used to be a restaurant called Joss at Kalagoda. And so sometimes, because we were working on some project there, so he would say, Alpa, come, let's go for lunch over there. And I would just nicely trot, because my office was around the corner over there. And so his office also was not very far. And he would have planned it. He would know which table he wanted to sit. He would know that we must have this brie. And he would have called up the previous day for that special brie, because it takes them at least an hour to make. So they request you to order it the previous day. So that was the kind of detail and charm which, he had, which was, it was just something which one had to experience and feel so good about. And, and now I'd just like to show you some of, my pictures, so this was, as I said, the last picture. I have just 2 minutes. And so these were the two architect friends, myself and Shirish Pai. So we, for the last decade, 12 years or so, we would have a ritual, an annual, sometimes biannual ritual of 2.5 hours. We discuss the city, the country, the world, the universe. No topic was taboo, and us three women his attention to detail, his chivalry, his genuine, authentic charm. That was, something which we still talk about, the three of us. We were actually shell-shocked. I would once in a while receive a book, a set of books, and so on from him. I think it will be time for our annual lunch in a couple of months, and already I feel this absence. It's this tiny crack in the fishbowl we call life that we live in. But I think I hear him talking to us through Neruda's poem, and I hope one will continue to be inspired to stay the course. And if I may just indulge me for a minute, this is sonnet number 94 by Pablo Neruda. If I die, survive me with such sheer force that you waken the furies of the pallid and the cold. From south to south, lift your indelible eyes. From sun to sun, dream your singing mouth. I don't want your laughter or your steps to waver. I don't want my heritage of joy to die. Don't call up my person. I am absent. Live in my absence as if in a house. Absence is a house so vast that inside you will pass through its walls and hang pictures on the air. Absence is a house so transparent that I, lifeless, will see you living, and if you suffer, I will die again. Thank you.
Thank you, Alpa. I think one of the great thing about Shirish was he was a very simple and down-to-earth person. I remember he was doing a book on earthquake by Arumar Ravi, and he said, I will come to your small office. I had a very small office at Kalina. I said that it's not a good office, I will come to your house or your office. He said, no, I will come to you. He was down to earth, literally. So I think we have the next speaker, Sulakshana Mahajan. I think with her, he has done 2 projects, I suppose so, and she has put up the models of that. She has taken pains to go to his house and bring it and showed the people what they have thought about the BDV Chal. And she is an activist, well-known urban planner, and written so many books. And I think she also is activist in the women's area, not only in the urban, architect. So, and I know her for quite a long time. So that is beside the point. So, Sulu, please.
Thank you so much for having me to present my tribute to Shirish Patel. Each time I travel from Thane to Navi Mumbai, by train or by rail, by road, I am reminded of Shirish Patel, his profound contributions to our cities. The distinctive structures of train stations along this route are not merely feats of engineering, but embodiments of his holistic, site-specific, and context-sensitive approach to design. For Shirish Patel, structural engineering extended far beyond mathematical precision. His education in civil engineering in England and brief stint working in France greatly shaped his versatile personality. Beyond his primary vocation, he had a deep appreciation and knowledge of music, of art, architecture, photography, and cinema. A voracious reader, his interest spanned from scientific research, history, and literature. As experienced by those of us fortunate to visit him and Rajani in their home, is full of artifacts and beautiful things, along with beautiful souls in the house. Shirish Patel's circle of friends reflected his multidisciplinary curiosity and expertise. From social workers and academicians to bureaucrats, many frequently sought his counsel. He had a deep understanding of the world, informed greatly by his extensive travels. He integrated his understanding of societal, cultural, and urban nuances into his work seamlessly, what one may refer to as superstructural engineering abilities, not just structural, but superstructural abilities. While he is widely known as designer of Mumbai's first flyover at Kemp's Corner, built in 1960s, few know of his opposition to the government-proposed flyover at Pedder Road. Decades later, recognizing the potential of worsening congestion, pollution, urban disarray, he proposed alternatives. I worked with him on at least 3-4 alternatives, along with the traffic commissioner, police commissioner, and BMC commissioner, including underground tunnels he suggested below Haji Ali and Mahalakshmi Junction. As explained, Mr. Gupchup, it's a hard rock, and the services are below them, and it's really terrible. It was a terrible proposal. This sensitivity to urban dynamics was a hallmark of his work. Though the Pedder Road flyover idea was eventually abandoned, its replacement, the coastal road, damaged Mumbai's cherished western waterfront, a consequence he had presciently warned against. Now, when I traveled here, I couldn't see the sea, I couldn't see Haji Ali, I couldn't see anything. I forgot if there was any sea there. This was not an isolated instance of his forward thinking. Shirish Patel repeatedly stood against short-sighted policies that undermined Mumbai's urban fabric. When the government introduced incentives for developers to develop cess buildings, he foresaw the pitfalls of the flawed policy. Tragically, his prediction that developers would cherry-pick profitable properties while neglecting dangerous, dilapidated structures proved extremely accurate. Thousands of families in Mumbai continue to stay in homes with structural weaknesses, while many heritage buildings and robust structures have been lost to profit-driven redevelopment. Shirish Patel didn't critique. He just didn't critique. He acted. He filed a public litigation against the flawed policy. He also took on the broader failure of slum rehabilitation schemes that promised free housing but created vertical slums, replacing poor to benefit the rich. When the redevelopment of Mumbai's 100-year-old BDD Chawl was proposed, Shirish Patel, armed with data obtained via RTI, worked tirelessly to craft viable alternatives. His concept of row houses in the sky is displayed here as a model. The structure he conceptualized with 9-meter wide roads at every 4th floor, with a roof at the height of 9 meters for 24-storied buildings around a big full-fledged cricket ground right in the heart of Worli, BDD Chawls. They were both innovative and human. You can see the old BDD Chawl, the MHADA proposal, and the proposal Shirish and me made for the houses in the sky, row houses in the sky. The design prioritized livability, community, and urban harmony. It serves as an illustration of his genius for integrating structural and social considerations, despite setbacks, including the dismissal of PIL and lack of informed engagement from BDD Chawl residents, as well as the broader community in Mumbai. He never wavered in his commitment to Mumbai's people and Mumbai's welfare. Even while holding critical views of many government policies and actions, Shirish Patel always responded to requests from public and private institutions to help solve problems. Whether it was designing a viaduct for Konkan Railway, flyovers or highways in metropolitan cities, or addressing bridges and other civil engineering challenges, he lent his expertise without hesitation. For the affordable housing project by Nagari Nivara Parishad in Goregaon, he designed cost-effective foundations that minimized cutting into rock, which was very hard. When the organization faced financial difficulties, he even helped them arrange solutions, financial solutions to come out of that trend and complete the project. A reflection of his commitment to making structural engineers serve the broader social good. Even as he worked on hundreds of projects throughout his professional career that stretched over 7 decades, Shirish Patel continued to write, mentor, and research. His magnum opus, 6 Metros, published in 2024, is a 2-volume comparative analysis of urban planning in cities like London, New York, Tokyo, Hong Kong, Mumbai, and New Delhi. It's crafted with 2 young urban designers. It is a testament to his intellect and enduring passion for improving urban life. Beyond his structural innovations, Shirish Patel's legacy includes the proposal for Navi Mumbai, a visionary idea he co-authored in Marg magazine with Charles Correa and Praveena Patel. As the first executive director of SIDCO, he played a key role in shaping it. He also was an advisor to public institutions like MMRDA and private institutions like HDFC. For me, Shirish Patel was far more than a brilliant engineer or a senior professional colleague. He was a mentor, he was a rishi, he was a sage, and a relentless advocate for common good. His life and work remind us that true engineering is not confined to structures. It impacts the lives and dreams and futures of people. Those structures serve people, they should serve people, and not the moneyed and the political class. Shirish Patel's work is a constant reminder that technologies must be designed and deployed with full attention to in the social context, that technologies must match the needs of the community where they are deployed, and engineers must strive to incorporate this context in their work. Shirish Patel, with his superstructural vision, stood as a voice of reason and sustainability, a battle that unfortunately requires continued and vigorous effort as we see our cities suffers, a battle that those of us here must continue to fight. Today, as we honor him, a lot of us carry forward his superstructural vision, a vision that dares to dream big, requires acts of compassion, and always puts humanity at the center. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sulu, for nice words. I think, may I request now Mr. Badalkar to please come.
Before I proceed, I just want to inform one news which I understand in the morning only. The senior most structural engineer, Ratan Dubhash, he also I think passed away 2-3 weeks back. So we were not aware actually, so that's why for the information of all, I'm just informing you. On behalf of my colleagues in Shirish Patel and Associates, and as a representative of ISSE, I am here to share memories of my Guru Shirish Patel. I am fortunate to get an opportunity to work as a design engineer with Shirish Patel and Associates after my MTech from VJTI in 1989. I appreciate the simple and open office culture which I never saw in any of the other offices. There were no cabins. Excellent engineering book library along with technical periodicals. That was a treasure, technical treasure we had. Monday meetings for the knowledge sharing among engineers by presenting various technical journals as the best part I ever remember. Everyone has to read some kind of new technical journal, the information, and share it with other engineers. That was the very good thing I loved. I must mention about pillars of SPA who closely work with Shirish Patel. Those are Dr. Noori, PH Srinivasachar, late R.D. Vaswani, and there were junior associates also, late Narendra Ajugia, Jagdish Rede, who is here, who is going to speak after me, and Badri Narayan. He encouraged young engineers like me to attend various conferences and write articles. Then I started writing some technical papers, and I wrote the first one in Indian Concrete Journal at that time about the new Mumbai railway station platform covering part. I travelled to Delhi with him and Dr. Noori for FIB conference around 1992. I was very junior engineer, but still he took me with him. I could learn many good engineering practices and got opportunity to work on Konkan Railway project, New Mumbai railway stations, and many industrial projects. Shirish Patel was a stalwart and towering personality in the field of civil and structural engineering. He had multifaceted personality, as other speakers also told you about that. As an outstanding civil engineer, urban planner for Navi Mumbai, innovator, author, good orator, civic activist of course to some extent, but strict follower of professional ethics. I think that is the most important part I liked. But he was aloof from any kind of publicity. He never wanted to get publicized in any form. He was a great fan of Indian classical music, as I think Alpa rightly said. I think Kumar Gandharva used to come and stay, I think, with them. And he was again a yoga practitioner also, that's what I understand. His thoughts were much ahead of his times, as Dr. Guchu rightly pointed out 2 cases. In 1965, before I was born, he has designed those Keynes Corner flyover bridge and a precast concrete structure like Petit Hall in 1967. Even today, we are struggling to have a good code on precast concrete, even today. He did it, I think 60 years back, 50 years back. He experimented with many innovative ideas on lighting and ventilation and implemented them in various projects, industrial projects. He was also very particular about the aesthetics in engineering design. I think that is again most important part, which generally architects look after, but he was very, very critical about that also. Our structure must look nice, good. And one of the good examples is, I think, Zuinagar at Futor Bridge, the arch type of bridge, is an excellent example of that. We will have a glimpse of some of the outstanding projects during now Dr. Noori's presentation after this. Shirish Patel inspired many civil engineers, including myself. He will be remembered for his outstanding work, which I feel should be documented for the next generation. Otherwise, the young generation will not know that what the work has been done by the stalwarts. We can emulate his teachings and march on the path shown by him with honesty, dignity, integrity and ethics. I think that will be the real tribute to my great Guru Shirish Patel. And this is my personal feeling. If all of us agree and if the organization support us, definitely I hope to write a letter on behalf of ISSC and like-minded organization to name Kings Corner flyover after Mr. Shirish Patel. That's my wish.
Thank you, Hemant. Now I think Jagdish is remaining. But before Jagdish, I think that I must mention, he was a big speaker, he mentioned, and I must mention the, his lecture on Santiago Calatrava. He went to Europe, and such a fantastic presentation I never heard in my life. And later on, he wrote a piece in ICJ, my own journal, where I think one very famous German structural engineer commented on that. He spoke about the Cable Stayed Bridge in Seville in Spain, which was a marvel, actually, architectural marvel. And that engineer said, a bridge is a bridge and a bird is a bird because it looks like a bird. And to that also he replied very strongly, not thinking about whom he is writing about. So he was a fearless man. Anyway, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today, I'm honored to share my journey with the late Mr. Shirish Patel, who was my mentor, who profoundly shaped my life. My memory of Mr. Patel is personal, and so is the loss. Shirish Patel and Associates was my first job, and I was very excited to be hired by this prestigious firm. The first thing that struck me was the informality of the firm. It was like one big family, and their names called everyone and not the formal sir or madam. The office layout, as Hemant said, was revolutionary. It had open seating, and each staff member, including the associates, had the same desk. And Shirish's office in one corner had an open door policy, and its furnishing exhibited equality and simplicity. Shirish's sense of discipline and integrity was omnipresent in everyday SPA life. And all staff inculcated these principles in their work ethic subsequently. As Hemant said, every Monday morning, each engineer reported on the engineering journals they were assigned to read. Shirish presided over these meetings and took a lot of interest in these meetings. And we knew the continuous education before it became a buzzword. And SPA's library was the envy of all design firms, and it is openly accessible to all engineers, even today, I think, Doctor, right? The three associates, Dr. Nori, Ms. Srinivas, and the late R.D. Vaswani were a formidable team. Each had their strengths, and they complemented each other. I was fortunate to work with them on different projects and gain tremendous knowledge. Shirish laid a strong emphasis on aesthetics. SPA project exhibited this design in every aspect. I was fortunate to work with him closely on many projects, especially when SPA opened an office in Delhi, where I was posted to manage it. Simply being with him was classic learning by example. He realized that my strength was in project management and nurtured it. I'd like to talk about two incidences which exhibit Shirish's qualities uniquely. Srinivas was the project lead and I was the junior engineer. In the first project, we had to design a water pipeline which was 10 kilometers long. The pipe was designed as a non-pressure pipe, considering the topography. The contractor, possibly to gain some additional contract value, informed the client and said that this design is wrong, and instead it should have a pressure pipe. The client, of course, panicked and wanted to meet Shirish. We explained the design to Shirish and went to the meeting. Before we went to the meeting, he said, "Please don't talk, let me do all the talking." Within 15 minutes, he had convinced the client that the design was appropriate. And to our credit, 10 years later, when I visited this project site, the pipeline was still in force without any damage. Another project was behind schedule. I think Alpa mentioned this and she's not here now. Shirish went to assess the situation. In the heated meeting, I was there. In the heated meeting, the contractor asked, "Am I lying?" Shirish immediately retorted, "Yes, you are." There was stunned silence. Thereafter, the project promptly completed with a revised schedule. Such was the legend of Shirish Patel, a man of conviction. My wife and I are also grateful for spending quality time with him and Rajni last February. I will miss him. Before I conclude, should we not continue to embrace and continue Shirish's teachings? Hemant, some SPA alumni, and I feel his legacy should continue. Therefore, we have offered our time and services to SPA to pursue Shirish's keen sense of innovation, such as introduction of natural lighting and ventilation in factories, and contribute to other aspects he advocated, namely urban design, his passion for solar energy, etc. Thank you everyone and the organizers for letting me share my experience with Mr. Patel. It's a privilege to do so in front of Gautam, Mala, and his family. Thank you.
I think before we request Dr. Noru, who has been very closely associated with Shirish for a long time, he want to make presentation. So before that, I would like to inform the people here that Shirish Patel's family is here, and we are all privileged to have them here. So on their behalf, may I request Gautam to please speak few words. Okay. As a token of appreciation, we would like to give some small memento to the speakers, so it's a formality.
One for Vijay Kulkarni also. We have later me first provided this video. And I'm with you all the time.